That lightsaber battle in the third episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi was insane! But is it among the best? You might be surprised.
What have you become?
I am what you made me.
Hey guys, it's Sean O'Connell, the managing editor here at CinemaBlend, and the moment that episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi ended, fans started to debate where that rematch between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader ranks among the all-time greatest lightsaber battles in franchise history. We decided to put them into some type of order to also figure out for ourselves where it ranked, and we decided we're going to stick to live action. There's a lot of animated lightsaber battles that are significant in Star Wars history, almost too many to really rank at this point. So we focused on the films and the Disney Plus television shows and came up with our 7 best because, you know, it leaves out a few key ones. I'll discuss them at the beginning of the video. Needless to say, we're going to get into some spoilers, not just for Obi-Wan Kenobi, but for the entire Star Wars saga. So if for some reason you don't want to hear about Star Wars spoilers, which potentially talks about the outcomes of some of these key battles, you might want to leave the video now. The rest of you guys, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. The moment we put up a new video, you guys will be the very first ones to hear about it.
You cannot run.
Let's start with just some of the honorable mentions because you can't actually build a list of all of the lightsaber battles in Star Wars. There are a ton of them. So, you know, as I went over my choices, I had to leave out things like the Jedi taking on everyone at the end of Star Wars Attack of the Clones, or Yoda versus Count Dooku, also in Clones. And some of the reasons why I left these battles off is maybe the CGI wasn't quite as finished, or the stakes weren't necessarily as high. One that was tough to really leave off was Rey and Kylo Ren taking on the Praetorian Guards in Star Wars The Last Jedi, which looks amazing, but there are some narrative decisions that led to that fight that maybe take away from some of the impact, especially when you look at the 7 that we focus on. So without further ado, if I leave out one of your battles, let me know in the comments down below of where you think it should have ranked in my overall list. But these are my personal preferences for these 7 greatest lightsaber battles in Star Wars history, and I am going to include the one from Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3.
Now you will suffer.
For number 7, I chose Luke versus Kylo Ren in the conclusion of The Last Jedi. This is Luke Skywalker's swan song. It's the one-time teacher against the student that he feels like he failed. It is stylish as hell. The white salt surface of Crate just sets up this visually magnificent sequence, and Rian Johnson's fight choreography, calling back to Rey's lightsaber training on Ahch-To, is actually brilliant. Okay, even though, okay, technically I know that Luke and Kylo Ren's lightsabers don't actually touch during this battle because of the whole force projection thing, but still, I'm counting it. It's number 7, and stop sleeping on The Last Jedi, people.
Strike me down in anger and I'll always be with you.
Number 6 is Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader in Star Wars A New Hope. This might be considered sacrilege, putting Obi-Wan's confrontation with Darth Vader so low on this list, but just because you came first doesn't necessarily mean that you are the best. And plenty of lightsaber battles that followed A New Hope took inspiration from this duel and actually raised the bar. The historical significance of this fight cannot be diminished, but I stand by the actual battle's ranking on this list because of the action that takes place in it and just the way that, you know, other ones were able to improve on it as the series continued.
Come on, R2, we're going.
Case in point, for number 5, I'm actually going to put the Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader fight from Obi-Wan Kenobi right above their initial confrontation. It's just cooler than their inaugural battle because we as fans at this point are far more invested in their rivalry thanks to the events of the prequel trilogy, and specifically the finale of Revenge of the Sith. The betrayal that we witnessed between these two in that movie adds to the anger and the fear that is conveyed in this battle that we just saw in Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Darth Vader dragging Ben Kenobi through flames is such a sick burn, literally, that action instantly made this a classic in Star Wars legacy.
Your pain has just begun.
Coming in at number 4, I picked Qui-Gon Jinn and a young Obi-Wan Kenobi taking on Darth Maul in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, there are a couple lightsaber battles in Star Wars history that get bonus points simply because they look incredibly cool, while also pushing the narrative points forward. Rey and Kylo, like I talked about, taking on the Praetorian Guards in The Last Jedi is definitely one of those sequences, and so is number 4 on this list. Qui-Gon Jinn and young Obi-Wan taking on Sith Lord Darth Maul and his double-bladed red lightsaber. It's a great villain, it's a great weapon, and of course, John Williams' Duel of the Fates is an all-timer in terms of musical compositions in Star Wars history. The top 3 choices on this list are stone cold classics. You can't go wrong with any of them. But at number 3, I'm putting Luke versus Darth Vader at the conclusion of The Empire Strikes Back. By the time that Luke Skywalker faced Darth Vader at the end of Empire, his rage had reached an all-time high, which made it easier for Darth Vader to emotionally manipulate his hot-headed foe. The battle is menacing and it's terrifying because really at that point we'd believed that Darth Vader was an unstoppable force, no pun intended, and Luke didn't really have his full training yet, so we feared for his life. Of course, the paternal reveal at the end of the scene is legendary, but really the entire sequence is an all-timer.
Search your feelings, you know it to be true.
Number 2 for me is Obi-Wan versus Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars: The Revenge of the Sith. Part of the reason why I love a great lightsaber battle is not just the visuals, but the emotional component. And the prequel trilogy built all the way to the confrontation between, again, student and teacher. In this case, Obi-Wan feeling that he had failed Anakin, believing that Anakin was going to be the one that brought balance to the Force. It's a lengthy battle. Of course, the fact that it's set on a volcanic planet with lava spewing all over the place, and our protagonists balancing on droids and locking arms is fantastic. And of course, the conclusion, which gets referenced back to in Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 3, of Anakin just losing his limbs and catching on fire, is an image that we're never going to forget in the Star Wars franchise. And so this battle between these guys, it's the highlight of the prequel trilogy. It's one of the best sequences in Star Wars, and it is the number 2 best Star Wars lightsaber battle that I've seen.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
I don't think this is controversial, but I'm picking Luke versus Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi as the number 1 greatest lightsaber battle in live action for Star Wars. And again, it comes down to the emotional component of it. Their first fight in Empire was fantastic, with Luke losing his hand and the revelation that Darth is his father. But the battle at the end of Return of the Jedi is not just a fight for Luke's soul, but it's also a fight for the soul of Darth Vader and whether or not the son can bring his father back from the dark side. The manipulations of Palpatine working on both of them is fantastic over the course of the battle. Luke's green lightsaber looks tremendous in the fight. It's lengthy. It's paralleled with the other 2 fights that are taking place on Andor and up in space. Terrific editing that takes place to build tension in all of those sequences. But really, seeing father and son going at it toe-to-toe for as long as they do, with the emotional stakes and all of that dramatic weight being balanced right there about whether good can finally triumph over evil is exactly why we buy into Star Wars. These are not just showy fights with flashy lightsaber battles. These are emotional, significant things that we invest in because we love the characters. And the conclusion of the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi, has the greatest lightsaber battle in Star Wars history.
So be it, Jedi.
Now, I know I left out some battle that you love, so tell me about it in the comments down below. It's Star Wars. We all have our opinions, but I want to hear from you guys, especially because I know, listen, I didn't choose anything from Rise of Skywalker. Not a huge fan of that episode. But it has a couple of really good battles, and they probably could have made their way into this list. They'll probably make their way into yours. Again, thank you for coming by, checking out our Star Wars content. We're going to continue to cover Obi-Wan Kenobi as the last 3 episodes of the series play out. Hopefully we'll see another exciting battle between Obi-Wan Kenobi and his former student, Anakin Skywalker, and maybe we'll have to redo our list by the time we see them confront each other again. Before you take off, remember, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. Every time we put a new video up, come on over, check it out, weigh in the comments, play along with us, and enjoy all of our Star Wars content.